We want to continue our discussion about lead acquisition from your paid campaigns. And this is really where the rubber meets the road, is that you can bid content and you can bid keywords. You can put a budget in on Google Ads search, Yahoo search, Bing search, what have you. Mm-hmm. You can run your ads on Facebook. But when it comes down to it, and we just talked about landing pages, if there's a mixed message, if you're not ferrying that consumer all the way through, not abusing them, not putting too much information, but giving them just the right information to understand what the price is, what the service is, what do I get for this, right? Making sure that you're in parity with that consumer's intent. If you're not doing that, you're really pushing people away. You've got an ineffective salesperson saying, I don't really want to be bothered with what your thoughts were or why you came here. Let me share with you what I want to sell you, right? It's the wrong attitude to take inside sales. You've got to listen and also be able to provide good connection to their thoughts and their pursuit. But on top of it, mobile is not the future of marketing. It's currently a reality right now with more than 160 million consumers using smartphones in the U.S. It's no surprise that mobile ad spending will actually hit $19 billion this year, according to Gartner.
Wow.
That's incredible numbers, and mobile search is the door to discovery, but what happens beyond the browsing? Today's consumers want a straightforward path that doesn't mean thumbing their information into tiny forms on a mobile screen, okay? If you're thinking the same lead conversion comes from different types of audiences, you're absolutely wrong. Right. The call comes from the mobile, because honestly, we sometimes lose the concept. Consumers that are interacting with mobile ads, their phone is actually a phone.
Yeah.
So more and more customers are choosing to pick up the phone. BIA Kelsey actually estimates that mobile search will drive more than 70 billion consumer calls to business by 2018.
Wow.
70 billion calls on paid mobile advertising. I mean, they're picking up the phone at an important time when they're about to buy, when they're ready to buy.
Yep.
Okay. So, do you know how your paid campaigns are actually transacting at those points in time? So, consider some of the do's and don'ts about making inbound calls as part of your mobile strategy. Let's check this out. You need to track your calls, but don't rely only on Google. Google recently announced their website call conversions. Yep. We've tested it out at Site Strategics, and it lets advertisers get attribution data for calls that follow the ad clicks. This innovation helps marketers update their digital marketing play, but Google AdWords is only one place marketers are spending money to drive calls. Here at Site Strategics, we actually focus on a number of different ways to track phone calls, because there's always that immediate click to call.
Yep.
Okay, but there's also the different dynamic dimensions of that consumer, and Doug, you were just talking about that.
Yeah.
There's a life cycle.
Absolutely.
People are in a different buying engagement.
Intent
exactly.
changes. Yeah. Sometimes they're just researching. Sometimes they have a couple questions. Sometimes they're asking for oftentimes we call on behalf of a company trying to find information. Yeah, there's all different reasons why people call.
So what we deploy is a dynamic call tracking, a unique tracking phone number which is assigned to each and every online visitor. And then we have a pool of numbers, and when a number is called, you'll actually capture the online activity that preceded the call, such as a search engine visit or a PPC campaign, and sometimes the keyword, if we can tie them all together, what landing page. We can also tell you what page they called from. So we can actually start seeing the conversion. Okay, this is a page that's actually getting the answer to the consumer's question, and then they hit that number, right? That's very important. You need to capture that powerful data for unique calls. You need to capture everything they've done leading up to that call and use custom parameters to gather other unique data that's relevant to your marketing efforts. You think about you getting the same metrics for call interactions that you would for clicks. The keywords that drove the call, the ad group, when the campaign prompted the call, and the landing page, all that has to do with what they're experiencing, what they're wanting from you as an organization. If you ignore that information, you're not really prepped for the call.
I think there's a big misnomer out there nowadays, and it's a growing problem, and that's that people are doing some traditional mail and direct mail and they're doing some traditional advertising on TV and radio. And so the misnomer is that they're going to just slice their campaign up and say, okay, anybody that calls us comes from these sources, but anybody that connects through our web form or anything, that's our online marketing.
Right.
And that's a huge problem nowadays because
it's such a rudimentary way to look at things.
Absolutely, because people are now connecting to you through, the physical device and then calling you directly off of a digital, sometimes it's an email, sometimes it's a pay-per-click ad, sometimes it's just landing on your web page. But they're calling you right from there, and so it's important. And I'm that's not poo-pooing traditional sources of marketing. They work as well, but it's really important to see the impact and effect, especially with pay-per-click. And so if you're missing those, you're not getting a clear picture. And so you cut off your pay-per-click because it's too expensive and you're not getting any leads. But then all of a sudden you notice that overall your marketing has dropped. We're getting less calls now. That's weird. Well, it's not weird. It's that people were landing on your pay-per-click ad and calling you.
Right. And that gets to another point here, very brief here. Just don't track where the call comes from. You need to track what happens on the call. And like we talked about here at Site Strategics, we'll monitor the calls that we're sending to you from these paid leads or these paid points, so we can see how well we're getting to the customer that you want. And it also shines a great light on customer service quality as well. And so many times the owners of our companies had a great reveal that they've never seen before of how the interaction happens. You need to make it easier for prospects to call, and that's physically on site, making sure there's a clickable link at the top of the page whenever mobile traffic gets to your site. You need to make it convenient for them to use call extensions on the ad, prominently displaying the phone numbers on your landing pages, and use dialer. Well, all this is very, very valuable. And if you're inquiring about any type of pay-per-click, it's as easy as that. All right.